Hey, my name is Frank, and this is what we did last night. Before I can talk to you about what we did last night, I gotta start off by talking to you about what we did before youth group, alright? This was the first week we started after the whole You on the Wednesday, and so what I wanted to do is kind of make sure everyone remembers what we used to do, and so I made my little order of worships, order of services that I used to make, which I'm not used to, I always make, and you can get a copy of this in my video where I talk about how I order my worship service on Wednesday nights. One thing we went back to that we haven't done in over a month is bulletins. And so I made these little bulletins that talk about everything that we have going on in our youth group. These are a big help for guests, and people can take notes on the back. There's a copy of this in the Youth Men's store that I made. It doesn't look like this, and it's way more colorful than this, but you can get a copy of that in the store. But our kids actually do love bulletins. We've been doing bulletins like this for about maybe over a year or two now, and our kids love it, and they like having all the information there. The parents love it because they find them in their kids' Bibles, and they can read about all the information that's going on in the youth group. And then the kids that actually take notes love this back page. Every chair we had a bulletin stuffed with an insert for the game, which I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. And then one thing we also did before youth group is set up two things. One, we set up a bread bar, and there's going to be a link to the Instagram picture of the bread bar that we had in our youth group. And the reason why is because our theme was that Jesus is the bread of life, and as I was thinking about what we can do to kind of keep that theme going throughout the whole night, I said, well, let's do a bread bar. I don't know if anyone has ever done a bread bar, but I was like, I love bread, I love Nutella, I love butter. Let's just have a bar full of bread and different spreads. And so I went to Panera, grabbed a few loaves of bread and a bunch of different kind of things to put on the bread, and it was a huge hit. Like, there was barely any bread left at the end. And the kids absolutely loved the bread bar, and so it was a good hit. The other thing I prepped before the service wasn't anything new. We've always had an info table which has extra Bibles, a copy of my ebook, Waiting, Dating, and Mating. I have a spring calendar. I have the this little they're called life books that the Gideons put out, which is just Gospel of John's, but are created towards students. And then I have these little cards that are invite cards that Ben Reed, I'll put a link in there, made, that are just really cool cards that people can invite their friends by just handing them to them. But one thing I did differently this week is I found this thing in the Youth Men group where they got butcher paper and put it on the table, and they drew stuff and wrote stuff around the items on the table, and it's pretty like a cool thing they can write on the actual table as opposed to like putting sticky notes and things like that. There's a picture of it from an Instagram that I have that's below, but it was cool. Like, the kids liked the differences. They liked the fact that it was drawn on there. I was able to write funny stuff on there, and I was able to give a pen to a kid to kind of draw some more stuff on there, and so it was kind of a little cool activity. So check that out. There's a picture of it, and I don't know who it was that gave me the idea, but you're great. Thanks. So now service is about to start. Narrow playlist is playing, and then right when the countdown video goes on, I have a video that I found from, because I asked you guys in the Youth Men group for some current funny videos, which I'm going to give you a shout out. It was a video of dog fails. Man, was that funny. Man, but all the videos were on point this week. The dog fails video was hilarious. There's a bunch of dogs failing at being dogs. There's a link to that below. You gotta check it out. That was our countdown video that we put a timer on top of it. Then we transitioned to a video called Present Spray, which is, I believe it's Tripp and Tyler who made that video. Anyways, it's just a video when people are on their phone while you're having a conversation with them. An air horn goes off to make sure they are present in the conversation. It was a small 1.5 minute video. It was great. And then for the last funny video, which is probably the funniest video I've ever shown. Literally, I had people dying laughing. They're like hands in their face and just rolling. Whoever suggested this video, huge shout out to you. You'll get your shout out on Twitter from videos. But man, this is a funny video. It was basically a guy who saves, who's a goalie in soccer, and there's a bunch of saves, but only with his face. And he doesn't want to be the goalie anymore. He wants to, but they keep putting him out there, and every single time the ball hits him in his face. And the commentary is hilarious. Like, I'm not, just watch the video. You're good. If you haven't shown this video to your kids, it's clean, it's stupid funny. Show this video, it's great. When we enter into our game time, we haven't played a bunch of games. Well, we played a bunch of games, but not from me, not like PowerPoint games or anything like that. So I wanted to make sure the games were really good this week. And so the first game we played was a game that I got from DYM called the Snap Challenge. And it's a memory short-term memory game where basically there's a picture that looks like someone drew on Snapchat. It's on the screen for 5 seconds, and then they ask you a question based on the picture. And the questions are stupid. The questions like, how many colors does this person use? What color? It's too complicated. It's just a bunch of really goofy questions that is pretty much impossible to remember within 5 seconds. And what was cool about this package is that they gave out a little card, a little insert that you could use for the people to write down their answer, and so they can cheat less, I guess. But it was a good game. Our kids loved it. It was funny. It was goofy, and there weren't really any winners because it was impossible. So make sure you get that game at DYM. Another game I got from DYM, it came in my membership package this month, was called Emoji Hunt. And it's an Adobe Air game where basically you put your phone numbers on the screen, and it almost like this jackpot thing starts spinning all these emoji symbols, and then when you hit the space bar again, 3 emojis come on the screen. And the challenge is to make the kids text you those 3 emojis as fast as you can, whatever the emojis are. And they're like the most random emojis. I got 1,000 texts last night from people sending me emojis. And what was annoying is that they were sending me emojis that had nothing to do with the screen, just a bunch of happy faces. People just texting me, hey Frank, I see you on stage. Really goofy stuff. It was fun. Just make sure you have unlimited texting on your phone, or else it's going to be really bad for you. So get that game when it comes out, Emoji Hunt from DYM. Okay, and this last game, I've been sitting on this game for a month. I've actually played the game with some of the students independently, but I've been wanting to do this game as an upfront game in our youth group for a while, and the game is called Super Fight. And so we've talked about this in the Youth Admin Facebook group. Basically, there's 2 sets of cards. One card's a character card. The white card is attributes or superpower cards. And basically, it's a game of arguing. It's a game of debating. You get one character with 2 attributes, and you have to debate with the other person why your character would defeat the other character in a battle or in a fight or whatever. And so it's really good for those kids who are really good at debating and arguing like useless stuff, like nonsense. If you have some nerds in your group that love superhero stuff, they can get really into it and they like talk about stuff that's like, wow, that's a valid point, but it's as ridiculous because it's a stupid game. And it's a really, really good time. And so they were battling over, the prize was a $5 gift card for Panera Bread, the theme of the night, right? And we had 2 girls come up and they did good. What was funny is one of them was Chuck Norris, so it was kind of like an end deal. Like, Chuck Norris is going to win no matter who the other person is. It could be freaking Superman that's unkillable. Chuck Norris won, right? And so the Chuck Norris girl won, and she won the prize. But it was a fun time. The kids loved it. And the way the winner figured out is everyone else in the crowd says that person won. And all of them were like, Chuck Norris won, because it was an easy battle. So make sure you get this game. Listen, this is a fun game. Like any game, you might have to pull out some cards that might be inappropriate, but this is a fun game, especially if you have a lot of kids that like superheroes and kind of nerdier stuff, or if you have a lot of kids that can just love to talk and debate and argue. This is a game that's about awesomeness. Every time I've played it, it's won. It's been a winner. It's good. Buy this game. It's by Skybound Games. Just Google Super Fight. You'll find it online. For our worship, we started off the night kind of still remembering Easter by doing John Mark McMillan's Death in His Grave. Then we did a newer Rain Collective song for the first time called All That I Am. That was kind of a fun song, worship song that we liked. And then we ended with an oldie called Inside Out, or From the Inside Out by Hillsong. So those are our 3 songs. It was a good night of worship. I actually played drums, which I hate playing drums, but it was fun to be behind the drum set and worshiping with the kids from a musical standpoint as opposed to a vocal standpoint. So for the intro video of my message, I'm bringing it back because it's been a while since I've done intro videos. I want something different with this series where the intro videos were funny. There's a loose bridge between the video and the actual topic, but I want it to be where just everyone's loosened up, everyone's laughing. And so I did something that I've been thinking about doing for a year, and I'm gonna put the link below. It's unlisted on YouTube, so no one can really find it unless you have the link. But basically, I impersonate 14-year-old girls on YouTube and do YouTube-y stuff. And we have a group of kids who love YouTube in the sense that like they follow just YouTube characters, YouTube people, and so there's this whole like YouTube subculture that people follow on there. And I find 14-year-old girls who make YouTube channels and actually are popular and rich very annoying, and so I sarcastically impersonated them, and I have a wig, I wear a woman's shirt, and I wear a pearl necklace, and I have posters, and basically I'm impersonating these girls and doing YouTube challenges. It nailed. All the kids loved it. All the kids find it funny. I even made a joke about audible.com at the end because every YouTuber uses audible.com. So check it out. Here's the link. Don't judge me, but there's gonna be 3 more of these, and our kids loved it. And that's the point of this, is to get the kids to just enjoy it, laugh, and to be a good segue from worship into the message where we talked about, yeah, that was a good segue. We talked about Jesus being the bread of life, and there was 2 major points in this, that Jesus was the bread of life. Point number 1, that Jesus is the bread that we need, that we don't need to follow and lust over lesser breads or things that we think we need, whether it's boys or girls or drugs or alcohol or whatever. But Jesus is the one that is actually the thing that our soul needs, that hungers for, that longs for. And so Jesus is the bread that we should be pursuing, that he's the greater bread. He is the thing that we actually want and desire. And so we use that C.S. Lewis quote about the kids playing with the mud pies when they can go on holiday, and just talk about the fact that Jesus, we have him, and he can be our source of joy, but we kind of still mess around with lesser things and lesser idols. The other point, and I thought it was very timely with all the things that are going on in Indiana, and if you're not from Arkansas, stuff down here in Arkansas was going down with all the little political stuff and religious freedom stuff. We talked about how, just like in John 6, where the people were offended and insulted by what Jesus said when he said, "Eat my flesh and drink my blood," and they walked away from him, even though they were cool with him the day before, that today people are going to be offended by the words of Christ. People are going to be offended by the words of Scripture, and they're going to walk away. And just like those people who walked away, Jesus sees them walk away, and he looks at his own disciples, his 12, and he just says, "Are you going to walk away too?" And that is something that is always ever present before us. That Jesus is looking at us and saying, yeah, they're offended by me. They're offended by what the Word of God says. They're offended by the words that I speak that are true. Are you going to walk away too? And I love Peter's response as basically saying, where else are we going to go? There's no one else. You are from heaven above. You are truly the Son of God. Where else are we going to go? And I was like, this is one of those few times you want to be like Peter, right? Peter stands boldly in the face of everyone else walking away, mocking, accusing, and saying that Jesus is crazy for what he's talking about. There's no rational person that would believe this. And Jesus and Peter is saying, who else are we going to listen to? Who else has the words and the wisdom that you have, Jesus? And pretty much what we're saying is, even if you don't understand everything at the moment, even if you're like, I don't even know what I personally believe in this situation, but if I have to pick between the crowd that is offended by Jesus or Jesus' own words and following Jesus, we follow Jesus. And we used some other illustrations in that, and I think the kids understood. It was a heavier night. It wasn't a light night, but I think that's why we did the funny video right before it, to balance it out, because it could have been just heavy the whole time. But it was a good night. The kids came up to me afterwards, and they really appreciated it. This series is based loosely on Keith Parker's series, I Am, that's found in the Youth Men's Store, so make sure you check that out to kind of give a scope, a sequence of what he did. But basically, I just kind of follow the order of the I Ams that he's using, but I'm rewriting my whole sermon, and I made my own graphics package, which I might put the graphics package in the store a little later once I kind of have it all done. But with that being said, God bless you guys. I'll see you next week. If you have any questions, hit me up. And in a couple weeks, I'm going to be in Dallas, I think Dallas, Fort Worth, or whatever, for that conference that's put on by SLU. Some of you guys have already contacted me to say, hey, let's get dinner, let's get whatever. I don't have a car, so I can't guarantee I can be able to do any of that. But what I can promise is that if you find me, I'll get you a discount code for the store, and we'll say hi, follow each other on Twitter. We can hug if you want, because I'm a hugging guy. Just don't touch my beard, because that's weird. God bless you guys. I'll see you next week.